Hey guys, so this is the Module 5 walkthrough video. I apologize if my voice is cracking a little bit. I've done a lot of video lectures today and it seems like my voice wants to give out. So we are on Module 5 now. As always, we access this page through courses and then modules. And we're going to start with the Module 5 start page, which is right here. Waiting for it to load. Okay, so our focus this week for composition is going to be on one of the most important techniques used in college writing, making comparisons and contrasts. Process which is called compare-contrast. You're going to use it pretty much every class from here on out. You also will use this in decision making, like if you're making a choice between two things, and you've probably already had to make a lot of decisions in your life, so you've probably already had to make comparisons and contrasts, but it's always better to learn how to be better at it so that you can hopefully make better decisions, more informed decisions by making better comparisons. We're also going to transition from talking about commas to learning how to properly use verbs in your sentences. I noticed a lot of opportunities with those in this class, and they're not uncommon, but they are definitely something that we want to talk about. So what you're going to want to do is review the course materials for Module 5. You have two sets of PowerPoints this week, but they're a little bit longer. One is on using verbs, and the other is on writing a compare-contrast paragraph. Watch the module and course walkthrough videos and the video lectures that go into more detail than what's in the PowerPoints. You'll also complete 3 assignments, making a decision discussion board, Module 4 quiz, and the compare-contrast paragraph assignment, which is paragraph 5. Your due dates, as always, on Monday the discussion board is due, on Wednesday the quiz is due, and on Friday the paragraph is due. So now let's go back and look at the module itself. So as always, the course material is right here. This is the PowerPoints. This is the video lectures where I go through the PowerPoints and add more information, and your assignments are here. The making a decision discussion board, you'll have a choice of 3 prompts this time, all of which have to do with decisions that you've made, because that's really when we use compare the contrast the most in real life. So the first one is one of the most practical applications of a compare-contrast is making a decision, and many of you made one recently related to college. Did you choose JSU over another college? If so, how did you make your decision? What was your thought process, and what was important to you when choosing a college? One of the first big decisions you have to make in college is choosing a major. For some of you, the choice of one major over another was obvious. For others, you had to choose between 2 majors you might enjoy. If you chose between 2 majors or will soon, how did you decide on one over the other? What were the advantages and disadvantages of each? How did you choose or will you choose one of those majors? And what do you think it says about you or about your priorities? 3, with this semester in particular, you likely had to choose between living at home or living on campus. Which did you choose and why did you make that choice? What were some advantages and disadvantages of each? Do you feel like you made the right choice for you? Why or why not? If for some reason one of these 3 prompts doesn't apply to you, or all of these 3 prompts don't apply to you, please shoot me an email and let me know, and we can see if we can come up with a different prompt for you. I think these should apply to just about everyone though. As always, the post should be at least 150 words, and make sure you respond to one of your peers in at least 50 words. You also have a quiz here. It is a slightly longer quiz. It's the same number of points, but there are fewer multiple choice and more short answer, where I'm going to ask you to correct an error that we talk about in the PowerPoints. So there's no time limit on them, but make sure you give yourself a little bit of time for that. And then you will have your compare-contrast paragraph. So let's go ahead and look at the assignment for that. And on this one, students tend to struggle with it a lot, so you do get an example on it. Let's zoom in a little bit because this is hard to read. Okay, so your prompts, your options here are compare and contrast 2 places you've lived. What was similar or different about these places? Which one did you like better and why? Compare and contrast 2 hobbies or activities that you've done. What was each of them like? Which one do you enjoy more and why? compare and contrast your favorite two of something, and the two need to be in the same category. So you could compare your two favorite sports teams, your two favorite foods, your two favorite movies, your two favorite books, two favorite TV shows, or anything else, as long as it's in the same category. On the same token or same line, you could actually do my least favorite, or the two movies that I hate the most. I would be okay with that. It's just easier to talk about your favorites most of the time. How are they similar? How are they different? And why is that important? Or compare and contrast high school and college. In what ways are they alike? How are they different? So only choose one prompt. Any responses that attempt to answer multiple prompts will automatically receive a grade of 0. Remember to put your name, the name of this class, and the date in the upper left-hand corner of the page. There might have been a typo on one of the previous assignments where I said upper right-hand, so this is corrected here and in bold. Put the name of the assignment in the center of the first line of the body of the paper. The paragraph should be 12 to 15 sentences in total. I'm really not going to mind if it's a little bit more, especially on this type of paragraph. You should start with a clear topic sentence that mentions the two things being compared, the basis or grounds for comparison, and any main pieces of evidence you'll use in your paragraph. You might find it helpful to use the evaluative method and choose the one you think is better than the other and phrase your topic sentence around that. Please do use the models in the PowerPoints for this. You should end with a clear transition sentence that summarizes the points you made above. You might helpful to evaluate one of the two options to choose which one is better. In between, you'll include your comparisons. The paragraph should have a clear organizational structure and should either use point-by-point or subject-by-subject comparison. We'll go into a lot of detail on those on the PowerPoints. In high school, you might have done similarities in one paragraph and differences in another paragraph. I don't want you to do that here because it is not really all that useful in college writing. It quickly becomes difficult to manage, and you really need to learn how to use one of these two organizational methods. The paper should be formatted in Times New Roman 12-point font, left aligned with just the title centered. Indent the first line of your paragraph and use the conventions of standard English, including grammar, punctuation, and spelling. Please avoid second-person pronouns, you or your, as well as those are basically banned in college writing. And although I don't take off points for something we haven't discussed thus far, as of this week, we'll have discussed all the sentence structure things. We'll also have talked a lot about making sure subject, verb, and verbs agree. So I'm going to be taking off points for more things as we go on throughout the semester, so please pay extra attention, take the time to proofread. So we have an example paragraph here that is color-coded to help you kind of get an idea of how to put this together. I chose point by point here, and there's another example paragraph in the PowerPoint as well. So this paragraph, we're talking about comparing working from home or at the office. So I start with my topic sentence. I often work from both home and my office, but I generally am more productive in my office because there are fewer distractions, I have access to more efficient technology, and there are resources to help me when I'm faced with a problem. So you can see that I compare working from home and my office, and then I evaluate them, and then there's a because, and I list the three things that I'm going to discuss in the paragraph. So then I'm going to talk about my first point, and I'm going to talk about how being at home and how working at the office differ in the sense of distractions. So at home, it can be hard to get into work mode because there are a lot of things to distract me. My home computer has several video games to play, and evidence of some of my favorite hobbies such as painting and music are everywhere. That can make it hard to motivate myself to work. In my office, however, there's really only one thing to do: work. So you can see how I focused on distractions, and I talked about both home and the office and how distractions relate to that in the point 1. Point 2, moreover, both the computer and internet access at work are more efficient and reliable, so it's easier to remain focused and complete work with less frustrations and fewer interruptions than at home, which leads to increased productivity. So there I've compared technology access side by side for point 2, where what it's like at my office and what it's like at home. And the third one is resources to help me when there's a problem. So I'm going to again compare those side by side. And unlike at home, there are people and resources available to help me when I run into a problem at work. For instance, if my work computer isn't working properly, I can contact the IT department for troubleshooting and quickly get back on track. Similarly, if I run into challenges with classroom management, presenting ideas to students, or creating an assignment, I can knock on the office door of a coworker and quickly get feedback, which is not an option as easily available to me at home. So I've compared resources side by side for working at home and working from the office. And then I'm going to end with a transition sentence. All in all, it's much easier for me to be productive at work than at home because I feel like I'm in the right mindset and have the right tools to do my job well. So that's summarizing what I've said in the paragraph and why it's important. And so that kind of takes you through another example of how to write one of these paragraphs. That should be everything for this module. I look forward to reading your discussion boards and your paragraphs very soon, and I hope you guys have a great day.